And then another set about Friday and Saturday at midnight. How's that sound?
Sounds just like the shot I've been looking for. You really are something. So where are you going?
I have things to do.
Will I see you this evening?
I'm here every evening.
That's not what I mean.
Actually, I do have one point I should discuss with you.
Inspector Castillo, I just finished checking out this Taylor guy.
Who?
The guy you wanted me to check out in the Christie Duvall case.
Oh, yeah, Nichols, sit down. What do you got here?
Well, he's got a pretty watertight alibi.
What about the Donner kid? What, they all got a watertight alibi? What's it? Does that seem kind of strange to you, Nichols? Why don't you go through this again and break these stories down a little bit?
If you say so, sir.
Yeah, I do say so. Wait a second, man. Look, I'm out of line here. This is obviously good work. I'm sorry. Can I hold on to this? Sure. Thanks. This one's in your honor.
For me?
Come bring me your softness. Comfort me through all the madness. Woman, don't you know with you I'm born again.
To conquer. Get better, Julie. You gotta get better.
Were you called here?
Oh, yeah. Mason's secretary called the house and left a message for me to meet him here.
Yeah, well, Mason's secretary called me, too.
Strange, isn't it?
It's very strange. I didn't even know Mason had a secretary.
No, well, I don't think Mason has a secretary, but that's who she said she was.
Gina, maybe?
Gina.
Sophia, I bet it was Gina that made that call. She is up to something, and it's not good.
All right, now, wait a minute. Now, let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe Gina was found by Mason, and Mason wanted to come here and talk to us about it.
Oh, come on, Sophia. What did he do? Make the call himself, pretend to be his own secretary? You know, this whole thing is beginning to make me very nervous. You know she doesn't like us. Where is Mason, anyway?
Where is Mason? I don't know. I don't know.
You know, she has us here for some insane reason, Sophia. I think the police should be called.
Well, Cece, I'm sure, called the police when he heard Gina was missing from the hospital.
It's not me that I am worried about, Sophia. It's Brandon. What kind of a mother is she going to be?
Well, now, wait a minute. You know Gina would never hurt Brandon.
What if she isn't stable? Suppose she has to be committed again. Who's going to be there for my son? Who's going to be my son's mother, Sophia?
No. I can't let that happen. They won't put me away again. And they can't take my little boy. Nobody's going to take Brandon away from me. They can't have my son.
Think, Augusta, why would Minx be so interested in Sophia in March 6, 1961? Of course. Lyle and Sophia were having an affair. Silly me. Damn him. Minx must have known about it. Why didn't she tell me, that witch? Wait a minute. March 6th. Wait a minute. Yes, I was traveling in Europe and they were just having a wonderful time together. Wait a minute. Cece and Sophia got married March 6, 1961. Was it 62? Well, there's only one way to clear that out. Warren, this is your mother. I need a tiny little favor. Could you check the newspapers and the files on Sophia Capwell? I want to know the date he and Sophia got married. Darling, I'm not up to anything. I just was talking to Minx about it, and she says she thinks it was 1962, and I think it was 61. Just want to win a bet, that's all. Yes, Warren, I'll hold. I'll bet it was 1961, because the next year... Yes, on computers, wonderful. They're very efficient. March 15th, 1961? You sure? March 15th, 1960. No, nothing's wrong. I just want to bet, that's all. Thanks. Got married 9 days after the date on that mass card. What is this? Well, bothered Michael. Well, I'm going to have to give him a call if I'm going to find out. Santa Barbara information, please. St. Anthony's Church. This may be the stupidest wild goose chase you've ever gotten yourself involved with, Augusta. And again, it may not be. What? Oh. Thank you. Right.
I realize that, but that's all the information I can give you at the time. All right, yes. Let me know as soon as you find out anything. Thank you. Honey, I don't want you to ruin your evening now worrying about Gina. Everything is being done to try to find her.
Okay. You know, Daddy, I've been meaning to say something to you.
Yes, honey, what?
Well, you and Mom, the way you've been together, it's almost like you know what each other's thinking without saying anything.
You're very observant, or else we haven't been too discreet.
We've gotten very close these past few weeks.
I can't deny it.
Well, I guess I should shut up.
Why?
Well, I mean, you have a wife out there somewhere, God only knows.
That doesn't change what you've noticed about Sophia and me.
You don't hate my saying it?
Oh, you're just telling the truth. I don't expect you to hide it.
You know, it almost seems like when you're around Mom, maybe you've fallen in love with her again.
No, not exactly.
What do you mean?
Not again. It's taken me a long time to realize it, but I've always loved Sophia.
Daddy, you don't know how happy that makes me to hear you say that. What about Gina?
It's a difficult situation, honey. I love your mother, and yet I'm married to Gina.
You can't have both. What are you going to do?
You know, Sophia, I really don't think that Mason even knows we're here.
Let's just give him a few more minutes.
Well, you stay if you want to. I'm going to the house and check on Brandon.
Wait a Santana. Just give him a few more minutes. This makes me nervous. Let's just wait.
Right. You know, this is not going to be a very nice thing to say, but I really do wish they would just lock Gina up. She's doing everything she can to keep me away from Brandon, and if she had her way, he would just forget about me completely.
I understand. It's nothing more painful than to be separated from your children.
Of course you understand. Sorry. She's going to take Cece away from you, too, isn't she?
Well, it's very difficult. You see, we found each other again. And it could be very beautiful. But the fact is, Cece is married to Gina.
I knew it. I knew it. They are trying to take my husband, my son, everything I have. Oh, I hate them.
Gina, what's going on? What are you doing out here?
Mason, I almost did something so horrible.
Well, calm down. Tell me what you're talking about.
Sophia and Santana were in there. I told them that you wanted to see them. I wanted to get back at them when the doctor told me I couldn't have any more babies. Gina. I felt like I had no more reason to live.
Gina, you have lots of reasons to live.
Brandon is the only reason I have to live. Without him, I have nothing, Mason. Just take me home and you better take that.
God, Gina, you weren't thinking of using these.
No, I wasn't thinking of anything. I'm thinking straight now, Phil.
Okay, calm down. I'll take you home. I'd better let them know I'm the one who called, though. Wait here.
Hello?
Santana, it's Mason.
Thank goodness it's you, Mason.
Listen, I'll be there in about 10 minutes or so. I hope you'll forgive me for keeping you waiting.
Oh, that's all right. Sophia and I will wait for you.
Good. I'll see you then. Okay, now you can relax now. This will be our little secret. Let's go.
I don't know if I have the strength to face Cece.
Now, Gina, you have to have faith. You'll win him over.
I can't believe how much you're doing for me, Mason. It makes me feel so much better about everything. But I still hate Santana and Sophia. Is it wrong of me to hate them? They've taken so much away from me. Don't you think they should be punished?
Well, an eye for an eye was considered de rigueur at one time.
At least I still have Brandon. And I'll fight for him with everything I've got. Oh, Mason, I wanted so much for Cece to love me. But how can he love me now? What use am I to him? When he looks at me, I can see it in his eyes. He doesn't see me anymore. He just sees the failure I am. He tries to hide his disappointment, but I can see it.
Gina, I think things seem a little worse than they really are.
No, you have to look at it from Cece's point of view. His wife is a drug addict.
A former drug addict.
Yes, former. But now I can't even give him children. And I wanted him to be so proud of me.
I know exactly how you feel, Gina. All my life I tried to win his approval. Nothing I ever did pleased him. Now look, I know you may not believe it, but I think you're a much better person than he is. You shouldn't be worried about getting back in his good graces. He should be trying to win you back.
Mason, do you really believe that?
From the bottom of my heart. Now you tell me something. What is it you want most?
I want Brandon.
Right.
I want Brandon first. And then I want Cece to be my husband. I want him to love me, to respect me, to be proud of me. And I want Santana and Sophia to be on the outside looking in at me.
It's not too much to ask. You can have all that, Gina, but you have to play it right.
I've been trying to do that.
You've got to stay in control. You've got to present yourself with confidence, with charm, with humor, and don't let them see that you're threatened.
How do I start?
Well, first of all, we can't let them know that you set Santana and Sophia up. You got to come up with a story about where you were from the time you left the hospital to now. It's got to be a good story, and it should play on their guilt just a little bit.
Right.
Now, I'll go back and take care of the ladies in my apartment. You, keep your chin up. Back into the fray. Good luck.
Well, this has to be about Gina. Look how protective Mason's been of her lately, not to mention how critical he's been of your family, especially Channing.
Channing, in what way?
Well, you know how competitive Mason and Channing have always been.
What are you talking about?
Sophia, I am so sorry. I should never have brought this up.
Now, wait a minute. I want to hear what you're talking about. I was Channing's mother, and I have a right to know, and I don't want any of this discussed in front of Cece.
I am just referring of how Channing was going to expose certain people to the police and take pleasure in it.
That is absolutely ridiculous. Is that what Mason is running around saying? Yes, he was going to expose some people, and that was just to protect his family. Santana, there's something else, isn't there? What? What else? Tell me.
Well, Mason did bring up the question of Channing's motives for me, whether he was in love with me or not.
Well, of course Channing was in love with you. You know that.
No, I thought that, but I was wrong.
The love of his life.
I thought that then. I thought it for years later.
And now?
I don't think that anymore.
Well, tell me.
Sophia, I have now found out that it wasn't Cece who made me give up Brandon. It was Channing. Gina would not have my son right now if Channing had not forced me to give him up. Oh, I was so much in love with him, I would have done anything for him. I just wasn't strong enough to fight him on that.
Honey, I am so sorry you feel that way. Channing loved you.
Oh, Sophia, you are wrong.
Yeah, I cannot believe this conversation. He loved you. You had a child together.
Then why did he take another lover?
I mean, another lover? He didn't take another lover.
Yes, he did.
What, did Mason say this? What, does Mason tell you this? It's a lie.
It is not a lie, Sophia. It's the truth. And what's even worse is he's going to tell Cece. Oh, Sophia, he started to tell him once before. You know, Mason, he isn't going to rest until he does. I'm sorry, but I am almost glad that you know. Maybe you can stop Mason from telling Cece.
Mason's not going to tell Cece anything. Anyway, it's all a lie, and it's absolutely ridiculous, and I will not let Cece hear about any of this.
It is not a lie, Sophia. Channing had another lover. He was in love with a man.
Gina, where have you been? I've been half out of my mind with worry. Are you all right?
I'm beginning to be, yes.
Well, where have you been? Why did you leave the hospital that way?
I didn't know what I was doing. When the doctor said I couldn't ever have a baby, something in me snapped, and I just hated myself.
That's not your fault.
Well, he told me that I could never get pregnant again, and I knew nothing in the world would bring back the baby I lost. So I hated myself, and I hated Santana, and I hated Sophia.
It's all right now. Calm yourself.
You see? Do you forgive me for the horrible things I said to you? I was hurt. I was angry.
I understand. But where have you been all this time?
I went to church.
Church?
Yes. I didn't know where else to go. Do you forgive me?
Of course I do.
I'm very glad to hear that, and I'm glad to be home. And I'm very grateful to have you to come home to. I want to see Brandon. I hope no one told him I was missing.
Hours and hours in church? What'd you do, fall asleep?
You always have something kind to say to me, don't you, Eden?
Gina, Brandon doesn't know anything yet.
Thank you, Cece. Do you want to come upstairs and see him with me?
Yes, I will in a moment. But first I want to call your doctor. Have him come over at once so he can check you.
All right, thank you for being so considerate. Bye.
Daddy, how can you believe a word that woman says?
Is he still called Father Michael, even though he's left the priesthood? Mr. Michael Leonard Phelps, thank you so much for your help. Bye. Now we're getting somewhere. Sophia, not a Catholic, going to see a priest. Well, she has the morals of an alley cat. She probably went there to seduce him. That would explain why Michael Leonard Phelps left the church. This is fun.
Mr. Phelps?
Speaking.
My name is Augusta Lockridge.
Lockridge?
Oh, would you have time to talk to me?
What about?
It concerns your past. You were a priest, weren't you? And called Father Michael?
Yes, that was many years ago.
Miss Lockridge, my mother-in-law, sort of referred me to you. Would it be
Convenient for you to come to my home?
No, I'd rather not do that.
Well, why don't I meet you somewhere? Do you know the Orient Express restaurant? It's in the Capwell Hotel.
I know it, but I don't care to meet you.
Mr. Phelps, you'll regret it if you don't. Why don't I just see you there in a short while? Bye.
Hey, come back! Help!
I don't know, Julia. You need a doctor.
Augusta, I wanted to talk to you.
Julia, I'm Jack.
I want to tell you about this wonderful guy that I met. He's so handsome, sexy, and he's a lawyer. His name is Jack Lee. He's famous, too. We made love in the judge's chamber.
Julia, can you hear me? Julia, can you hear me?
He was my first. You know, he can have any girl in the whole world that he wants. And he wants me. He wants me. He just wants me. Man, are you telling me that my son... Are you telling me that my son was gay? Well, I don't believe that.
Mason said he was.
Mason is a liar.
Sophia, Mason showed me a tape that he had made. He had pictures of Channing and his lover. I didn't want to believe it either, but when I saw those pictures...
Well, just who is this man? What is this man's name?
Lindsay Smith.
Lindsay Smith? Lindsay Smith was one of the people the crew suspected of killing Channing.
Yes. He was blackmailing Channing. He was going to expose him as a homosexual.
I don't believe any of it.
Sophia, I didn't want to believe it either, and then I met Lindsay. I went by Mason's apartment one day, and Lindsay was there, and he started telling me how much in love with Channing he was. I was shocked. And then when I really thought about it, I realized that what he was feeling wasn't that much different than what I had felt for him.
Oh, dear God.
Sophia, I'm sorry. Please try to forgive him. I've tried. It is the only thing that's going to make it any easier for you.
Well, I apologize, ladies, if my unavoidable delay has caused you any upset.
It wasn't you, Mason.
Good. May I ask what's wrong? Excuse me. Mason Capwell.
Mr. Capwell, this is Detective Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
You asked me to keep you informed of the Mary Duvall's movements?
Right.
This afternoon, she went from the hospital to the mission, then to the Chambers department store. And at the moment, she's here at the Orient Express restaurant.
Again, huh?
She just ordered a drink.
Okay, I'll be right over.
Well, I'm afraid I have some very urgent business.
Mason, you're not going to go anywhere until you tell us why you called us here.
Certainly not. No, I came to tell you that Gina came to me after she left the hospital. I've just returned from delivering her safely into the arms of her husband.
So why are we here?
I'm getting to that. Gina is very angry and bitter. Much of it is directed at you. Much of it, in my opinion, is justified. It was her intention, you see, to bring charges against the two of you. Charge of murder for the murder of her unborn son. Fortunately, I was able to persuade her to change her mind.
Oh, I get it. You're going to pretend that you're protecting us here. Well, don't bother, Mason. I know that you've just simply sided with Gina.
No, I'm on the side of justice, Santana. It's no secret that the two of you would benefit enormously if Gina were to fade into the sunset and leave you two with the pickings.
You and Gina have misinterpreted the circumstances, and there is something else I'd like to get straight with you,
Furthermore, I
Mason.
think that the two of you have underestimated Gina and her ability to deal with you two very strong ladies. See, Gina's a fighter, and she loves Brandon dearly. Now, thanks to you, he's the only child she will ever have, and she will fight to the death to keep him. That's all I have to say. You two can go now.
You can't blame any of this on us, and you know it. And there's something else I want to talk to you about.
Ma, you're very intense today,
Don't
Sophia.
you dare ever tell Cece that our son was gay.
Well, now everybody but Dad knows. Why should he be the only one kept in the dark? Besides, it might put to rest for good his trying to pass Channing off as the perfect son. Thanks for coming by. I'm going to leave now.
Mason, please. Please. I am begging you. Your father is under tremendous pressure, and I don't think he can take any more. Now, no one is going to profit by your telling him about Channing.
On the contrary, Sophia, I will profit from the enormous pleasure it will give me.
Excuse me. Aren't you in the wrong place?
No, Eden, dear, I'm in the right place. I came to see if the food was as bad as I heard it was.
You know, we have a policy here, Mrs. Lockridge. We have the right to refuse service to anyone.
Is that a threat to throw me out?
James, would you show Mrs. Lockridge this table and ignore her for 15 minutes? And if that doesn't make her mad enough, have an accident with the fettuccine.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Will there be one or two, madam? Two.
We'll have a table for you in a minute, sir.
Is that Augusta Lockridge over there?
Yes, it is.
She's the party I'm meeting.
Please seat yourself.
Thank you.
Father. Mr. Phelps. Nice of you to be so prompt.
Mrs. Lockridge, my time is limited. I hope this matter can be handled quickly.
Well, why don't we just get right down to it?
I don't understand.
I'll ask the questions. On March 6th, 1961, a young girl came to your church and your confessional.
So, here you are. Cece was wondering where you were. I thought maybe you were out looking for me.
No, actually we weren't.
Well, I don't blame you. He said that you thought I made some anonymous phone calls to you. What made you think that?
Well, Gina, everyone was just worried about you leaving the hospital without telling anyone.
Well, I was very hurt and angry. I lost my baby. Maybe I overreacted. Is it so wrong to care about the loss of a child?
Gina, I was getting concerned.
Oh, I just wanted to let them know what was happening.
You should be upstairs resting. The doctor's going to be here soon. I don't think he'll want to see you up and around like this.
Oh, I will go upstairs soon. I just wanted to let them know that everything's all right.
Well, that's very thoughtful of you.
Well, I had some time by myself to think, and I realize now that it was just an accident.
Shall we go upstairs? We got to get you well.
Yes, I'm so glad to be home. And I'm glad to have you caring about me again.
Boy? How's she doing?
Squirrely, nervous, jumpy. Pretty, though, isn't she?
Yeah, I'll take over from here, Roy.
Oh, right.
I'll just have the usual. Rich, put it on my tab.
Mason, I've been looking all over town for you.
Well, you were looking in the right place. I was all over town. You got anything solid on those alternate suspects yet?
No. I just got the last report back half an hour ago. They're all as clean as can be. Alibis so tight you'd think they were manufactured.
Maybe they were.
That's what I thought at first, but not anymore.
Who is that guy Eden's with?
His name's Randall Jordan. Yeah, they used to go to high school together.
I thought he looked familiar. She used to have a thing going with him before she was sent off to Europe. He's, not encroaching on what you still consider to be your territory, is he?
Eden hired him to sing here nights.
I had no way of knowing that the young woman was anyone special. When a priest hears a confession, he never tries to establish identity or single out anyone.
Please, Doctor, you have to defend yourself.
I detest being worked over by you. You Lockridges.
Oh, which Lockridge worked you over?
Minx Lockridge, your mother-in-law. It was on account of her that... Well, she almost ruined my life.
Why?
This is very important to you, isn't it?
I don't ask for the company of strangers without good reason, Mr. Phelps.
Well, my foster home is very important to me. And I would like a donation of $1,000 for this information.
Oh. Well, I'll pay, but the amount will depend on the information. Tell me something. Did you and that young lady have an affair? Is that why you left the priesthood?
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
I never laid eyes on her.
That's a lie.
When was the last time you were at confession?
Mr. Phelps, I never confess to anything.
Well, when a priest hears a confession, he never sees the person confessing. He only hears her.
Of course. That is, unless it's Sophia Capwell making the confession, then being human, you can sneak a little glimpse. Right?
What? I don't believe it.
You don't believe what?
That was Sophia Capwell? The Sophia Capwell?
My dear Jack, you can't imagine how often I've thought of you in the past few days. The time you...
Listen, if you're trying to roll me, there's a law against it.
You're having an affair with me and you're carrying pictures of Augusta in your wallet. She's my sister. She's my sister. Are you in love with her? I said, are you in love with her? Answer me! Answer me, damn you! Answer me! I hate you, Augusta, for doing this to me! I hate you! I hate you, Jack! I hate you! You're the only two people that I trusted and you betrayed me! I hate you! I hate you!
Oh, she's worse. Be strong. You gotta be strong. Especially now.
Well, Senorita Andrade, what can I do for you?
I really don't want a thing from you, Mason. You know, I used to believe that you really cared about Brandon, but now I know that's not true, because you're siding with Gina.
I don't follow your reasoning.
Her attitude, her behavior, it's not going to work out for Brandon in the long run. She's not a good mother.
Well, Santana, Gina is a better mother than you'll ever be.
How can you say that? If I'd ever had a chance with my son, I would have been a very good mother.
Well, if you were inclined to be such a wonderful mother, you wouldn't have given Brandon up in the first place. Furthermore, if you really had his best interests at heart, you would have stayed away from him when Gina was in the hospital. You wouldn't have wanted him confused and upset. You see, Santana, he was already surrounded by people who loved him, who gave him the best of everything. But no, you insisted on coming to the house, creating tension, to say the very least. spent so much time mothering the boy that his emotions were confused. His loyalty to his rightful mother was confused. Now, you may call that mothering. I call it selfishness.
I am Brandon's mother. I did what I did because I love him and because I'm worried about him. Now, the Capwells may be able to give him everything material. But Gina is unstable, and Brandon is not safe in that house with her.
Haven't we been through all this before?
I think I'm boring you.
Oh, no, not at all, Santana. I just have to do something that's critically important to me. Would you excuse me? May I join you? I don't mind if I do.
I knew you'd come.
Aha! You're taking me for granted already.
As soon as I made my decision, I knew that you would swoop down on me and try and take advantage of me. You better watch out, Mason Capwell, because I can fight just as dirty as you can.
I don't have the slightest notion what you're talking about.
I am gonna hate you for a long time, Mason, and I'll never forget what you said to me.
Mr. Capwell has a call?
Mr. Capwell's a little busy right now. I'll take it. Yes? No, he isn't here right now. Excuse me, would you repeat that again? The Oasis Motel? Oh, I see Mr. Capwell didn't pay his last bill. Well, just how much does he owe you? $360. It's an awful lot of champagne. Oh, no, don't worry, Mr. Gould. I'll see to it that you're paid. Well, isn't that interesting, Mason? Maybe I should check into that for you.
Now, these won't be all you'll play. I mean, you know things by heart, right?
Yeah, I also have some things I wrote myself. This is just some music I had. I thought might be nice for the restaurant.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Can I look?
Yeah, sure, please. That's what I brought.
And this one's...
Excuse me, the bartender just told me that you're running low on tequila. And I was shocked. I mean, a joint like this, I figured I should warn you. Randall, I understand you have yourself a new gig, man.
Yeah, right here.
Wow.
Look, I don't mean to be rude, but I really need to talk this over with Eden before tonight, you know?
Oh, fine, yeah.
Thanks.
The love of my life, the heart and soul of my life. Once I was lost and alone, with you at last I am home. You give me so much of you, and leave me room to be free. No one's ever touched me quite the way you touched me. People search a lifetime to find what we have. You are the love of my life, one thing that's good in this life. And in a world full of change, one thing I'm sure of, you are the love of my life, the one thing that makes sense in this life. And I'll spend the rest of my days just loving you. You are the love of my life, and I thank God I'm alive to spend my lifetime with you. You are the love of my life.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, I thought I might do this to start with, you know, some kind of an opening. And then after that, I thought I'd, you know, sort of build slowly to something that get really romantic. I don't know. What do you think? I mean,
Fine.
You know, that's what I thought I'd use.
Sounds great.
You okay?
Oh, yeah.
You mean that Minx never told you who Sophia was?
No, she was simply another woman confessing her sins until Mrs. Lockridge started asking questions.
Uh-huh.
How did Minx know to come to you?
She followed Sophia in the church and saw her going to my confessional, and she waited till Sophia had left, and then she came to me.
And you, being the nice fellow that you are, told her everything Sophia said to you, right?
No. She worked on me for days. She wouldn't let up. She made threats, bribes. I don't like to think about it.
She is very forceful. How long did you hold out? How much did it take to buy your soul, Mr. Phelps?
I curse the day I spoke to Minx Lockridge.
Well, you did it once. I'm sure you have no aversion to doing it again. $1,000 should satisfy your greed and ambition, Mr. Phelps.
I want $20,000.
Don't be ridiculous.
This is about Sophia Capwell. It's worth a lot more now.
Will the money I pay you go to you or your foster home charity?
It'll go to my foster home program, none to me. $20,000 and I'll tell you everything. Take it or leave it.
Well, whatever I pay you, I won't be buying your soul. You don't seem to have one left.
Well, look at it this way. $20,000 is the down payment on a new shelter for battered kids. All right. I'll go my way. And you go yours.
Wait. Now, tell me everything. I want to know every detail.